Well, the New York Times trying to come to terms with its disastrous decision to change a neutral, objective, positive Trump headline in order to appease the far-left Twitter mob. Executive editor Dane Beckett stating that the original headline was a, quote, expletive mess. And the headline writer, he said, feels terrible for having been fair and balanced. The New York Post's Michael Goodwin summing up the paper's problems earlier today.
The Times has created a monster in that it has to give its readers a daily dose of hate Trump every day. And if you don't, if you drop the ball on one headline, they will come after you because this is now what they expect of the New York Times.
Well, joining us now, Byron York, chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner, Fox Business contributor. And Byron, great to have you here. It is crazy to think that the executive editor of the Times speaks like that and actually was apologizing by implication in telling the poor assembled editorialists that the headline writer was awfully sorry and feels terrible about the whole thing of being fair and balanced toward the President of the United States.
I do think you have to look at what kind of incentives does this produce inside the New York Times newsroom, which already has tons of incentives to be anti-Trump. But the headline that you just showed it on the screen, it said, Trump urges unity against racism.
Right.
Given the news of the day, the president's statement, that was a perfectly accurate and neutral headline describing what the president had done. As you said, Twitter went nuts. A lot of people.
The left went nuts. Yeah.
The left went nuts. They said they would cancel their subscriptions, and so they have to have essentially a town meeting inside the New York Times about this. The editor has to say that the poor guy who wrote the headline just feels terrible. He's sick over it. And I mean, what incentive does that give for anybody doing that again? I mean, basically the message is we did an objective, straight headline about Donald Trump, and we'll never do it again.
Yeah. It's horrific what the leftist media in this country is doing and will continue to do. They will persist throughout the 2020 election without doubt. Let's turn to the president making, if you will, a pivot here. He's pivoting on illegal immigration. He is pivoting on border security. He's doing so in a somewhat gentler maneuver than one might have expected for anyone pivoting, but nonetheless it's happening. He's pivoted on gun control. Is there a breaking point here with the base?
Well, there certainly is, and I know you've talked about this. The big thing is the wall. If the president is running for re-election a year from now, 14, 15 months from now, and he cannot show a lot of progress on the border barrier, the wall, whatever you want to call it. I mean, that's a serious problem because you heard all of the president's rallies in 2015 and 2016. It was his premier campaign promise, premier campaign promise. And there were opportunities to get it that he did not take. And then when he pursued it under conditions in which, after losing the House, in which it was virtually impossible and had to use executive power after that.
You know, Byron, you mentioned the House because it seems to me there is an analog for this upcoming election. There was Ryan and the House. In this election, it's McConnell and the Senate. And there is this growing, it seems to me, false confidence in the Trump campaign structure and the White House itself in policy that the president can do pretty much what he wants because the base has nowhere to go. It's a peculiar kind of arrogance, it seems to me, because they've just received a lesson from Paul Ryan and the House of Representatives in the midterms, and it's like they want to continue to make mistakes by not affixing themselves to the reasons and to the people who made Donald Trump possible.
Well, this overconfidence you're talking about is when they look at the Democratic field, they think, well, who among them could beat President Trump? And the answer, they believe, is nobody.
Yeah.
But when you say the base has nowhere to go, the base always has somewhere to go, which is to not vote.